There is a specific reason why 90% of attempts to get an ex back fail miserably. It isn't because you didn't text the right words. It isn't because you aren't attractive enough. It is because you are currently committing a philosophical crime against the nature of love itself. Right now, you are likely operating from a place of panic. You feel like you cannot breathe without them. You believe that this intense pain you are feeling is proof of your deep love. But I am here to tell you the uncomfortable truth. That is not love. That is dependency. And nothing repels a romantic partner faster than the stench of dependency. Erich Fromm, the legendary psychoanalyst and author of The Art of Loving, spent his life decoding this exact trap. He identified a fatal error that almost everyone makes after a breakup. He called it immature love. The mantra of immature love is, I love you because I need you. If you are trying to get your ex back because you need them to fix your happiness, you have already lost. You are asking them to carry a burden they never signed up for. You are not offering a partnership. You are asking for a hostage situation. But there is a way to flip this dynamic. Fromm teaches us how to transition into mature love, where the mantra shifts to, I need you because I love you. It sounds similar, but the psychological difference is the difference between a beggar and a king. In this video, we are going to use Erich Fromm's philosophy to dissect the mistake you are making right now. We are going to stop you from acting like a child demanding a toy and teach you the discipline, the patience, and the art required to make your ex realize that walking away was the biggest miscalculation of their life. Welcome. If you are watching this, you are likely standing in the ruins of a relationship wondering how to rebuild it. You are looking for a quick fix, a magic text, or a manipulation tactic. But we don't do that here. We do not deal in tricks. We deal in transformation. Most people treat love as a passive emotion, something that just happens to them like catching a cold. They think that if they just feel enough pain and show enough devotion, the universe will reward them. Erich Fromm argued that this is a childish fantasy. He posited that love is an art, and like any art, whether it is painting, medicine, or engineering, it requires knowledge, discipline, and active effort. If you are trying to win your ex back without changing the fundamental structure of who you are destined to repeat the same cycle of heartbreak. You cannot solve a problem with the same level of consciousness that created it. Before we dive into the 3 pillars of Fromm's philosophy that will change your relationship dynamic forever, I need you to join this ranks of the self-mastered. Click the subscribe button and turn on notifications. We are building a community of men and women who refuse to be victims of their own emotions. And I want you to make a declaration of independence right now. Go to the comment section and type these 3 words. I am whole. Type it. I am whole. Because the biggest lie you tell yourself is that you are half a person looking for your other half. Fromm teaches us that 2 half people do not make a whole relationship. They make a shared addiction. Only 2 whole people can create mature love. By typing that, you are signaling to your subconscious and to your ex that you are no longer broken. Now let's open the book on the art of loving and discover exactly where you went wrong and how to fix it. Let's define the mistake immediately. Erich Fromm argued that the deepest, most primal fear of every human being is the horror of separateness. From the moment we are cut from the umbilical cord, we are terrified of being alone in the universe. To escape this prison of loneliness, most people do not seek love, they seek symbiosis. In biology, a symbiotic union is when 2 organisms depend on each other for survival, like a fetus and a mother. In a relationship, this looks like 2 people who cannot function without one another. Fromm specifically described the passive form of this union as psychological masochism. This doesn't necessarily mean physical pain. It means making yourself small, weak, and dependent on another person to define your existence. This is where you are failing. When your partner left, they severed that symbiotic cord. The panic you feel right now, the inability to eat, to sleep, the obsession with checking their phone, is not a reflection of how special they are. It is a reflection of your inability to stand alone. You are trying to force a symbiotic union back into existence. When you beg, plead, or promise to change everything just to get them back, you are telling them, I am nothing without you. You think this sounds romantic. You think this sounds like devotion. But to a healthy human mind, this sounds like parasitism. Your ex does not want a child to take care of. They do not want a shadow that cannot exist without their light. By clinging, you are validating their decision to leave. You are proving that you are not an equal partner capable of standing on your own 2 feet, but a dependent entity looking for a host. Fromm teaches us that you cannot truly love someone until you can survive without them. As long as you are trying to merge with them to escape your own loneliness, you are not loving them. You are using them, and deep down, they can feel it. So, if dependency is the poison, what is the antidote? This brings us to one of Erich Fromm's most profound and counterintuitive insights. He wrote, "The capacity to be alone is the condition for the capacity to love." Read that again. The condition for love is not togetherness, it is solitude. Right now you are terrified of the silence. When you are alone in your room, you feel anxious. You fill the void with music, with social media, with friends, with alcohol, or with obsessive thoughts about your ex. You cannot stand to be with yourself. And here is the brutal question you must answer. If you cannot stand to be in your own company, why should they? If you are boring or anxious to yourself, you will inevitably be a burden to others. The second major mistake people make is using their ex as an escape from themselves. You want them back so you don't have to face your own internal emptiness. Fromm argues that love is an art, and like any art, it requires discipline and concentration. You cannot master an instrument if you only practice when you feel like it. Similarly, you cannot master love if you are lazy with your own life. During this period of separation, you must master the art of being alone. This doesn't mean isolating yourself forever. It means reaching a point where you are perfectly content with your own existence. When you no longer need them to call you to feel okay, that is the exact moment you become dangerous. That is when you become attractive. Why? Because you are no longer a consumer of their energy. You are a producer of your own. When you can sit in a room alone and feel a sense of joy and productivity, you signal to the world, and to your ex, that you are whole. You become a challenge again. You become a mystery. A person who is happy alone is a person who has choices. And everyone, absolutely everyone, wants to be with the person who has choices, not the person who has no other option but them. We have established that dependency is unattractive, and that solitude is necessary. But this leaves us with a burning question. What exactly do you do now? How do you practically apply this philosophy to make them come back? Most people believe that doing something means sending flowers, writing letters, or showing up at their door. Erich Fromm calls this a misunderstanding of the very nature of activity. He distinguishes between busyness, which is just busy work driven by anxiety, and productivity, which is the active use of your powers. To reconquer your ex, you must understand Fromm's distinction between the having mode and the being mode of existence. This is the intellectual core of your transformation, the having mode of relationships. 90% of people operate in the having mode. You say things like, "I have a boyfriend," or "I want to get her back." You treat the relationship like a property, an object that you own. When you treat a person like property, your primary emotion becomes the fear of loss. You become jealous, controlling, and anxious because property can be stolen or lost. When your ex left, they were escaping your having mode. They felt consumed. They felt like an asset in your portfolio, not a free human being. If you try to get them back, notice the language get. You are trying to reacquire property. This triggers their resistance. No one wants to be owned. The being mode of relationships. The goal is to shift into the being mode. In this mode, you don't have love. You are loving. Love becomes an activity, a state of character, not a transaction. Fromm identifies 4 specific elements that constitute this active power. If you master these 4 elements during your time apart, your energy will shift so drastically that your ex will be disarmed when they finally see you again. 1. Care, active concern. Care is the active concern for the life and growth of that which we love. Ask yourself brutally, were you caring for their growth, or were you caring for how they made you feel? During this period of separation, your care must be directed inward. You cannot care for another until you care for your own biological and psychological machine. If you are not sleeping, not eating right, or letting your career slide because of a breakup, you are demonstrating a lack of self-care. If you cannot care for the garden of your own soul, why would they trust you with theirs? Action step. You must become the architect of your own life again. When you post on social media, strategically, it shouldn't be to make them jealous. It should be evidence that you are actively caring for your own potential. You are hitting the gym, not to look hot for them, but because you respect your body. This radiates a frequency of high value. 2. Responsibility. Fromm notes that responsibility is not a duty imposed from the outside. It is a voluntary act. It means responsibility, the ability to respond. Most people react, they don't respond. When your ex broke up with you, did you react with anger, tears, and begging? That is low status. That is childhood. Responsibility now means taking ownership of your role in the failure of the relationship, not in a shameful way, but in a factual way. You must sit down and map out exactly where you failed to show up as a high-value partner. Did you stop listening? Did you become complacent? Did you let your insecurities run the show? By accepting responsibility without self-flagellation, you become an adult. When you eventually talk to them, you won't say, "Please come back, I'll change." You will say, "I've realized where I lacked responsibility, and I've fixed it for myself." That is a statement of power, not a plea. 3. Respect, the game changer. This is the most critical element for reconquest. The word respect comes from the Latin respicere, which means to look at. It means seeing a person as they are, and being aware of their unique individuality. If you are begging them to come back when they said they need space, you are not respecting them. You are not seeing them. You are seeing your own pain. You are projecting your need onto them. True respect right now means respecting their decision to leave. This sounds paradoxical, but it is the ultimate psychological judo move. By fully accepting their decision and backing off, you show them that you respect their autonomy. You are telling them, "I see you, I hear you, I respect your choice." This removes the pressure. It lowers their defenses. When you stop fighting them, they have nothing to push against. They expect you to pursue. When you respect their distance instead, you become an enigma. You validate their freedom, and ironically, freedom is the only condition under which they can choose to come back. 4. Knowledge. Fromm argues that you cannot respect someone you do not know, and often, we don't know our partners. We only know the version of them that loves us. You must use this time apart to gain knowledge. Study the relationship like a historian. Why did they really leave? Not the surface reason. It's not you, it's me. But the deep reason. Did they feel suffocated? Did they feel unappreciated? Did they feel like they were outgrowing you? You need to peel back the layers. This knowledge will prevent you from making the same mistakes if you get a second chance. It moves you from blind passion to enlightened love. The transformation of energy. When you integrate care, responsibility, respect, and knowledge, you transition from a passive victim to an active creator. Fromm famously stated, "Infantile love follows the principle, I love because I am loved. Mature love follows the principle, I am loved because I love." Most people waiting for an ex are stuck in infantile love. They are waiting to be loved so they can feel okay. You need to become a generator of love and value. Imagine the next time you see your ex. If you are in the having mode, you will look at them with hungry eyes, trying to possess them again. They will feel it as a drain. They will recoil. But if you are in the being mode, you will stand before them as a whole, self-contained universe. You are not asking for anything. You are simply sharing the overflow of your own life. You are happy. You are strong. You are moving forward. This is magnetic. It triggers a primal curiosity in them. Wait, I thought she needed me to survive. Look at them. They are thriving. They have ascended. Humans are wired to want to be part of something successful. By being a person of high value, rather than trying to have a relationship, you create a vacuum of desire that pulls them back in. You stop being the beggar at the door and become the emperor inside the palace. And the emperor never chases. The emperor attracts. The journey we have walked today is not easy. It requires you to kill the part of yourself that enjoys playing the victim. It demands that you stand in the center of your own life and refuse to be moved by silence or absence. Erich Fromm left us with a warning. Love is not a sentiment which can be easily indulged in by anyone. It is a high achievement. If you want a high-value relationship, you must become a high-value person. There are no shortcuts. The ultimate paradox of this entire process is simply this. The moment you truly stop needing your ex to come back is the exact moment they will feel the safest coming back. Why? Because you are no longer a black hole of neediness trying to suck them in. You are a star, generating your own light and gravity. When you master the capacity to be alone, when you shift from having to being, you become the rarest thing in the modern dating world. A whole, autonomous human being. They will feel this shift. Whether it takes weeks or months, the energy you project will change. And when they do come back, and history shows they almost always circle back when the pressure is gone, you will have a decision to make. You won't be accepting them back out of desperation. You will be choosing them out of strength. If this video helped you see your situation through a new lens, do not leave without subscribing. We are building the strongest community of self-mastered individuals on YouTube. And remember the declaration you made at the start. If you haven't done it yet, go to the comments now and write it into existence. I am whole. Stop waiting. Start living. I will see you in the next video.